Welcome to this episode of Robert's Creative Chronicles. So today we'll be solving this question, which states that perform 3 iterations of the Muller's method to seek for the smallest positive root on 0 to 1 for which the following function equals 0. This is the function. So the Muller's method, this method uses 3 initial approximations to the root. So these are the 3, x0 to x2. So solution. So in Muller's method uses a quadratic equation. The quadratic equation is given by f of x is equal to x minus x2 square. Then there's a here. So this is a, x minus x2 square plus b, x minus x2 plus c. So this is the quadratic equation that Muller's method uses. F of x is equal to a, x minus x2 square plus b, x minus x2 plus c. So this quadratic equation depends on the last initial approximation. Since the last initial approximation here is x2, that is why here is x2. If there are 3, maybe x1, x2, x3, the last one here will be x3. If there are 4, maybe x2, x3, x4, here will be x4. No, since there are x0, x1, x2, here is x2 and x2. So now we can start. First, let's find the functions of all these 3 initial approximations. So let me demarcate this, make it easy. I will say the function of what x0. Which is equal to the function of 1, no, the function of 0, 0. So now, if you substitute 0 into this equation, what are you going to get? It will be what? 0 cubed minus 3 times 0 plus 1, which is 1. So fx0 is what? Is 1. Then the next one, fx1, which is what? x1 is 0.5. So this is negative 0.375. Then you can also add 0. You can put this thing in 4 decimal places. Then fx2, which is what? f1 is what? So this 1 minus 1. This minus 1. So now we have found the functions of all these approximations. We will now apply this formula, this quadratic formula. So this fx0 now will become what? We'll substitute this fx0 into this. So instead of anywhere we see x, we will write x0. So it will be a x0 minus x2 square plus b x0 minus x2 plus c. Likewise, fx1 will be what? A x1 minus x2 square plus b x1 minus x2 plus c. Then fx2 also is equals to what? A x2 minus x2 square plus b x2 minus x2 plus c. So now we can substitute x0, x1 and x2 into these equations. So this one becomes A x0 is what? X0 is 0, x1 is 0.5 and x2 is 1. So now x0 is 0, x2 is what? 1 plus b x0 is what? X0 is 0 minus 1 plus c. And fx0 is what? Is 1. So we can say it's equals to 1. So this now becomes a minus 1 square is what? Is 1. So plus b 0 minus 1 is minus 1 plus c is equals to 1. So it will be a minus b is equals to what? 1 minus c. So this is the first equation. And the second one, fx1. This also will substitute x1 is what? Is 0.5 minus, then x2 is 1. So 0.5 minus 1. So this will be a 0.5 minus 1. To make it easy, we can just say 0.5 minus 1, then square. To be 0.25. So this was 0.25 plus b. B is without the square. So it's negative 0.5. Plus c. fx1 is what? It's negative 0.3750. So this becomes 0.25a minus 0.5b is equals to what? Negative c, negative 0.3750. So this is the second equation. This is the first, this is the second equation. Then the third one, fx2 is equals to, this one is 0 square, this one is 0. So only c will remain. So c is equals to fx2. What is fx2? fx2 is negative 1. So c is equals to negative 1. Point 0.0000. Now we can substitute c in these two. So this one becomes what? This one becomes what? This one becomes a minus b. 1 minus c is what? Is 1 minus minus this, which is 2. So this becomes a minus b is equal to 2. Then this becomes what? 0.25a minus 0.5b is equals to minus this minus, so it will be minus c. Minus times minus is what is plus, so it's 1 minus this. So it's 1 minus 0.375. 0.625. So 0.625. Then we have c. Now we can solve these two simultaneous equations. We can use substitution method. When we make a the subject of the formula, a will be equals to 2 plus b. Then we can substitute it here to get one of the variables, and then we can substitute it in one of them to get another variable. So when we substitute A here, we will find B. After we find B, we can substitute it back in this one to find A. Or you can use your calculator. This will be 1. This is what? -1. Then 2. Then 0.25 minus 0.5. I'm using the calculator to make things faster. 0.625. This is 1.5 and -0.5. So A is what? So A is what? 1.5. And B is what? -0.5. So A is 1.5, B is -0.5, and C is -1. So now we can do the first iteration. The iteration is given by this formula. Xn plus 1 is equal to Xn minus 2C over B plus minus root of B squared minus 4AC. So the sign that we're going to take here that is plus minus before this square root depends on the sign of B. If B is positive, we are going to take positive. If B is negative, we are going to take negative. So the sign we're going to take here between positive and negative depends on the sign of B. And so here B is what is negative, so we are going to take negative here. So now here from the equation we already have x0, x1 and x2. So the next one we're going to find is x3. So x3. So here that means n is 2. So it will be x2 minus 2c is what? 2 times what c? C is -1 over what? D is what? D is -5. Then minus, since B is negative, square root of B square. B is -5 square. B is, okay, -0.5, not -5. -0.5, not 5. Then this is also -0.5. -0.5 square, then minus what? 4 times A times C. 4 times A is 1.5. C is what? It's -1. We can put this in the calculator. So now x2. x2 is what? x2 is 1 from the equation. So we can substitute 1 here as x2. It's going to be 1 minus 2 times -1, -0.5, minus root of -0.5 squared minus 4 times 1.5 times -1. Here is 0.3333. So now this x2 is 1. So now x3 is equals to what? 0.3333. So this is x3. So now we have done the first iteration. Let's do the second iteration. In this one, you know, here it was fx0, fx1 and fx2. Now this will be, the one we're going to consider now will be fx1, fx2 and fx3. So I don't need to write the formulas. Here will just be fx, here will be, instead of x2 here here will be fx1 is equal to a x1 minus x3. Here also x2 minus x3. Then the last one will be x3 minus x3, which is 0. So here all this x2 will change to x3. And then the last term will be x3 minus x3, which is 0. So now we'll have that fx1 is equal to a, then to be x1 minus x3. This x1 0.5 minus what? 0.3333 square plus b, the same thing, then plus c. So now this one becomes 0.5 minus 0.333 square. So I know that fx1 is what? Is negative 0.3750. So now we can write that this let's start from here before we write this. So now this is equals to what? 0.0278 a then this 0.1667 plus 0.1667 b, then it will be what? This negative 0.3750 minus c. So I'll take c to the other side because eventually we'll find c. C will be the function of this. So we'll still find the function of x3 later. So now the second one, fx2 is equal to a. x2 is what? 1 minus x3 is 0.3333 square plus b, 1 minus 0.3333 plus c. So this is 0.4445. 0.4445 a plus what? 0.6667. 0.6667 b is equals to what? This is what? Negative 1. So it will be negative 1 minus c. Then the last one, fx3. We need to find fx3. So fx3, which is equal to f 0.3333, will be equals to what? We'll substitute this in the original function. So it will be what? 0.3333 cube minus 3, 0.3333 plus 1. So this is what? 0.0371. So this 0.0371. So this fx3 is equals to what? Here will be 0 automatically because x3 minus x3. So a will be 0, b will be 0, then it will be c. So now c is equals to what? This 0.0371. So now we can substitute c here. So now here will be negative 0.3750 minus 0.0371. So this is negative 0.4121. So this is what? 0.0278 a plus 0.1667 b is equals to negative 0.4121. Then this one is what? This minus 1 minus 0.0371, which is 1.0371, which is negative 1.0371. So here this one will be what? 0.4445a plus 0.6667b is equals to negative 1.0371. So now we can find a and b. So it will be equation. This is 0.0278, 0.1667 minus 0.4121. Then this is 0.4445. Then 0.6667, then negative 1.0371. So this is what? 1.8332. So A is what? So A is what? 1.8332. And B is negative 2.7778. B is what? Negative 2.7778. So now we have A, B, and C for this iteration. Then now we have x3, x0 to x3. So here now will be x4. It's equals to what? x3 minus 2c over b plus minus b square minus 4ac. And in this round, b is negative. So now since b is negative here, we're also going to use negative here. So this becomes x3 is what? x3 is 0.333 minus 2 times c is what? 0.0371 over what's b? B is this, negative 2.7778 minus, since b is negative, b square minus 4ac. So 4 times 1.8332 times, okay, there's no more space, let me write it under, times 0.0371. This will be 0.333 minus 2 times 0.0371, negative 2.7778 minus root of negative 2.7778 square minus 4 times 1.8332 times 0.0371. This is 0.3468. 0.3468. So x4 is 0.3468. So now again we'll find the function of this. So the function of x4, which is equal to the function of 0.3468 So now we'll put this in the original function, which is 0.3468 raised to the power of 3 minus 3 times 0.3468 plus 1. So this is what? This, there will be 2 zeros before 1 3. So it will be what? So here will be 0.0013 because here is 1 2 3. So we have moved back 3 times. You see, 1 2 3. So there will be 2 zeros before 1 3. So in the same way, we will start with what? Here we start with fx1. So now it's fx2 we are going to start with. So now fx2 will be equals to what? This x4 now will be the one we are going to use. So it will be x2, it will be a. So what is x2? x2 is 1 minus this x4, 3468 square plus b 1 minus 0.3468 plus c. So we'll say 1 minus 0.3468 square. So this is 0.4268. 0.4268 a, then plus 0.6532 b is equals to what? What is fx2? fx2 is here, is negative 1. So we'll substitute it to be negative 1. So it will be negative 1, then we'll take c to the other side. Negative 1 minus c. Then the next one to be fx3. So it will be fx3 is equals to a. x3 is what? x3 is 0.3333. So it will be what? 0.3333 minus what? 0.3468 square plus b 0.3333 minus 0.3468, then plus c. So now what is fx3? fx3 is 0.0371. So but first, let's solve this. Let's work this way to be 0.3333 minus 0.3468 square. So this is what? There will be 3 zeros before 1, which then if we approximate 1 it will be 2. So it will be what? 0.0002 a plus what? This negative 0.0135. So it will be negative 0.0135 b is equals to what? fx3, which is 0.0371 minus c. So now the final one, fx4. fx4 will automatically be c, since a and b will times by 0. So now c is equals to what? fx4, which is this 0.0013. So we can substitute it in both of these to get negative 1, negative 0.0013. So this is negative 1.0013. So this becomes 0.4268A plus 0.6532B is equals to what? Negative 1.0013. Then this one 0.0371 minus 0.0013, 0.0358. So this becomes 0.0002A minus 0.0135B is equals to what? 0.0358. So now we can solve these two simultaneous equations to find A and B. So now we can put this in a calculator. Going to be what? 0.4268, 0.6532, then negative 1.0013, then 0.0002, then negative 0.0135. And 0.0358. 0358. So this is 1.6745. So A now is cost what? 1.6745. Then B is cost what? Negative 2.6270. So this is A and B, and here is C. So we can do the iteration now. So now x5 will now be equal to what? x4 minus 2c over root of what? B squared minus 4ac. Then there is B here plus minus. So now what's x4? x4 is this 0.3468. 0.3468 minus then 2c. 2 times, what is C? C is what? C is 0.0013. 0.0013 divided by, what's B? B is what? B is negative 2.6270. Then since this is negative, here also be negative. So here also be negative, because this sign depends on the sign that B is. So since B is negative, this also will pick negative. It will be root of B squared minus 4 times A. A is what? A is 1.6745. 1.6745 for AC. Then C is what? C is this times 0.0013. So now we can enter this in the calculator. So this becomes what? 0.3468 minus 2 times 0.0013, then negative what? 2.6270 minus root of this square, which is minus 2.6270 square, minus 4 times A is what? 1.6745. Times C, which is this. So this is what? 0.3473. So this is what? 0.3473 approximately. So x5 is called 0.3473. So we are going to stop here. Since the question specified that we should do 3 iterations, perform 3 iterations. So we have done the 3rd iteration, which is this. So we can stop here. So therefore, we can conclude that the approximate root is 0.3473. So this is the approximate root, 0.3473. And this is how you find the approximate root of an equation using Muller's method. I hope you understood this episode. If you have any question, feel free to contact me using my WhatsApp or email written in the description below, or you can write them in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell to get notified as soon as I drop a new video. Thanks.